There comes a moment in life when everything you trusted begins to fall apart at the same time. Plans collapse, relationships change, doors close without explanation, and suddenly you feel like you're standing in the middle of ruins, asking yourself, why now? It feels like life is breaking you piece by piece. But here's the truth most people never realize in that moment. Breaking is not the end, it's the beginning of becoming. Nothing that is meant to grow ever stays comfortable. Nothing that is meant to rise remains untouched by pressure. When something breaks, it doesn't always mean it failed. Sometimes it means it reached the point where it could no longer remain the same. Think about how strength is formed. Muscles don't grow by rest alone. They grow by tearing first. Bones become stronger after they heal from stress. Even gold is refined by fire. The breaking you're experiencing is not random, it's purposeful. It's life reshaping you for the next level you're not ready to see yet. You may feel like you're losing yourself, but in reality, you're shedding what you've outgrown. Old fears, old limits, old versions of you that were too small for where you're going. Comfort never builds courage. Ease never builds endurance. If everything had stayed easy, you would have stayed the same. And you were not created to stay the same. Right now, it may feel like life is stripping you of control, but what it's really doing is teaching you dependence on something greater than your own strength. When things break, you're forced to stop pretending you have all the answers. You're forced to slow down, to reflect, to listen. That's where real transformation begins. Not in applause, not in success, but in silence, when you're alone with your thoughts and still choose to stand. Some people see breaking as failure, but vision allows you to see it as preparation. What you're walking through now is shaping your mindset, strengthening your spirit, and deepening your character. One day, you'll look back and realize that season didn't weaken you, it awakened you. It taught you patience when you wanted speed. It taught you faith when you wanted certainty. It taught you resilience when you wanted relief. So don't rush to escape the breaking. Let it do its work. Let it build depth where there was once only surface strength. Let it replace fear with wisdom and weakness with endurance. Because when this season ends, and it will, you won't come out broken. You'll come out built. Pain has a way of speaking to us that comfort never does. When life is easy, we move fast, we assume, we overlook, and we rarely stop to examine who we are becoming. But when pain enters, everything slows down. Suddenly, every thought becomes louder, every choice becomes heavier, and every moment carries weight. That's because pain is not just something you feel, it's something that teaches. It reaches places success and comfort can never touch. In painful seasons, you begin to see clearly. You recognize who truly stands with you and who only walked with you when it was convenient. You learn the value of time, the cost of trust, and the importance of boundaries. Pain exposes illusions. It removes false confidence and replaces it with humility. It strips away ego and leaves behind truth. And while that process is uncomfortable, it is necessary for growth. Comfort tells you everything is fine. Pain asks you to change. Comfort allows patterns to repeat. Pain interrupts them. It forces you to ask hard questions about your habits, your mindset, and your direction. It challenges the way you think, the way you respond, and the way you believe. That's why people who have endured pain often carry depth. You can hear it in their words and see it in their presence. They've been shaped, not sheltered. Pain also teaches patience. When you're hurting, there are no shortcuts. Healing takes time, strength takes time, clarity takes time, and in that waiting, something powerful is formed. You learn endurance. You learn how to keep moving even when motivation is gone. You learn how to stand firm when answers are delayed. That kind of patience doesn't come from success. It comes from surviving moments you thought you wouldn't. What pain gives you is perspective. You stop chasing what looks good and start seeking what is meaningful. You realize that peace matters more than approval, and purpose matters more than popularity. Pain redirects your priorities. It teaches you what truly deserves your energy and what no longer does. And that clarity becomes one of your greatest strengths. One day, you will realize that the pain you once begged to escape became the wisdom you now live by. It trained your heart, sharpened your discernment, and strengthened your character. You didn't just endure it, you learned from it. And because of that, you walk differently now. You speak differently. You choose differently. Pain never comes to break you without also bringing the tools to build you. If you let it teach instead of harden you, it will transform you into someone stronger, wiser, and unshakable. Sometimes the most painful moments in life are not caused by what happens to us, but by what is taken away from us. People leave, opportunities disappear, plans fall apart without warning. And in those moments it feels like life is punishing you, like something precious has been stolen. But often, what was taken was not strengthening you, it was slowly making you weaker, keeping you comfortable, dependent, or stuck in a version of life that could never take you forward. We hold on tightly to what feels familiar because familiarity feels safe. Even when something is limiting us, we defend it, protect it, and justify it. We tell ourselves we need it to survive, but growth demands separation. You cannot rise while clinging to what weighs you down. When life removes something, it is often because it has already served its purpose, even if you weren't ready to admit it. Loss creates space, and space is where new strength is formed. When support systems disappear, you discover what you're truly capable of. When comfort is removed, resilience is built. When certain people exit your life, clarity enters. You begin to see how much energy you were spending maintaining connections that were draining you instead of developing you. What once felt like security was actually preventing your independence. There are things we lean on that feel helpful but slowly weaken our discipline, our faith, and our self-belief. Life, in its wisdom, removes them not to hurt you, but to teach you how to stand on your own. It forces you to develop inner strength instead of borrowed strength. And yes, that process hurts, because dependence always feels easier than responsibility. In those moments of loss, you're tempted to look backward, to wish things could return to how they were, but the past version of your life cannot support the future version of you. What you are becoming requires a different foundation, stronger habits, clearer boundaries, deeper trust, and sometimes the only way to build those things is to remove what made you comfortable staying the same. One day, you will look back and realize that what you thought was taken from you was actually holding you back. The door that closed redirected you. The relationship that ended protected you. The plan that failed freed you. You didn't lose strength, you gained alignment. Life didn't remove your support, it removed your dependence. And when you stand again, it won't be because of what you lost, but because of what you learned to build without it. There is a kind of strength that is built in public, and then there is the kind that is built when no one is watching. Applause can motivate you for a moment, but it cannot sustain you for a lifetime. The real work, the work that shapes your character and defines your future, happens in the quiet places. It happens when there is no encouragement, no recognition, and no immediate reward for continuing. And yet, you keep going. In those unseen moments, you discover who you really are. When motivation fades and results don't show up, what remains is discipline. When people stop checking on you and progress feels slow, what remains is commitment. That's where strength is formed, not in the moments where success feels easy, but in the moments where quitting feels reasonable and you choose not to. Most people underestimate the power of consistency because it looks ordinary. Showing up again, doing the work again, believing again. No spotlight, no celebration, just persistence. But that ordinary faithfulness compounds into extraordinary strength over time. Every quiet decision to keep moving forward builds endurance. Every lonely step trains resilience. You are being strengthened in ways you cannot yet measure. There are seasons when it feels like your effort is invisible, like nothing you're doing is making a difference. But roots grow underground before anything appears above the surface. No one applauds roots, yet they determine how tall a tree can stand when storms come. In the same way, the strength you are developing now will be revealed later when pressure tests you and you don't collapse. In the unseen, you learn how to stand without validation. You learn how to trust the process without proof. You learn how to believe without applause. That kind of inner strength cannot be shaken by opinions or circumstances. It creates stability. It gives you confidence that doesn't depend on external approval. One day, People will notice the strength you carry and assume it came easily. They won't see the nights you kept going while doubting yourself. They won't see the moments you felt tired, unmotivated, and alone, yet refused to give up, but you will know. And that knowing will keep you grounded when recognition finally comes. The strength you build in silence will be the same strength that holds you steady when life gets loud. When life breaks you, it has a way of stripping away control, leaving you feeling vulnerable and uncertain. You may have planned, prepared, and worked hard, yet things don't unfold the way you expected. That's when you realize that control was never truly yours to begin with. And while that feels uncomfortable, it is in these moments that trust is forged, the kind of trust that cannot be learned in seasons of ease. When we are forced to release control, we begin to understand something vital. Life works on a rhythm and timing far beyond our understanding. We cannot dictate every outcome, nor can we force every result. And while that may seem frightening at first, it is actually liberating. It is freeing to know that you are not responsible for orchestrating every detail, but you are responsible for how you respond. That shift in perspective is the foundation of true peace and resilience. Trust is strengthened when we surrender our expectations and embrace faith in the process. It's not about passive waiting, but about active belief. It's about showing up, doing the work, and having the patience to let life unfold while knowing that every challenge is shaping you, even when you cannot see it. The moments where you feel powerless are the very moments that teach you reliance not on circumstances, but on your own inner strength and the higher guidance that moves life forward. Surrendering control does not mean giving up. It means choosing to align your efforts with the greater plan rather than resisting it. It's about understanding that resistance only prolongs struggle, while trust creates clarity and direction. When you stop trying to force things into place, you allow solutions, opportunities, and growth to enter in ways you could never have engineered on your own. Life's breaking points teach you patience, humility, and endurance. They show you that true strength is not about holding on to everything tightly, but about letting go wisely. Each time you release control, you reinforce the truth that you are capable of navigating uncertainty, that you can thrive even when outcomes are unclear, and that you are being prepared for something greater than you imagined. And when the season of breaking passes, you will look back and see that surrendering control was never a weakness, it was the process by which trust became unshakable. You will see that peace and confidence are born in the spaces where you once felt helpless. You will realize that life's unpredictability was actually building a resilience that no obstacle could overcome. The lessons learned when control is taken away are the lessons that last forever. When you trust, even without seeing the way forward, you are being built into someone unbreakable. No matter how broken you feel today, you have to understand one thing: you will rise. The process of being broken is not the final chapter of your story, it is the foundation for your comeback. Life has a way of tearing us down so that we can be rebuilt stronger, wiser, and more resilient than we ever imagined. The strength you gain in the broken seasons is the strength that carries you forward when life tests you again, and it is never wasted. When you fall, it may feel like everything you had was lost, like your power, your confidence, your direction, everything is gone. But that is the very moment when you are being prepared for something greater. You see, rising is not about returning to who you were before. It is about becoming someone new, someone better, someone capable of handling more than you could before. What hurt you yesterday becomes the fuel for your growth today. What broke you yesterday becomes the blueprint for your strength tomorrow. The process of rising requires patience, but it also requires faith. Faith in yourself, faith in your journey, and faith in the unseen forces that are aligning circumstances for your benefit. When you embrace the lessons of the broken seasons, you stop seeing failure as the end and start seeing it as preparation. You understand that every tear, every setback, every disappointment was not in vain. They were shaping your character, strengthening your resolve, and deepening your understanding of life. You will rise with more confidence because you've walked through storms that would have defeated others. You will rise with more clarity because you have learned what truly matters and what does not. You will rise with more courage because fear no longer has the power to control you. The things that once shook you now serve as proof of your endurance. The lessons learned from your lowest moments now guide your decisions at the highest levels. And when you finally rise, you will realize that the person you have become could never have existed without the brokenness that shaped you. The pain, the loss, the uncertainty, they were not obstacles to stop you, but the very tools to build you. Rising is not about forgetting the brokenness, it is about using it as the foundation for a stronger, more purposeful life. It is about stepping forward with the knowledge that nothing can hold you down permanently unless you allow it. So, when life breaks you, remember this, it is not the end of your story, it is the beginning of your transformation. You will rise, and when you do, you will rise stronger, wiser, and more powerful than ever before.